2017, three black teenagers were hung by their fucking necks in Norman, Oklahoma. Hung in 2017. In 2020, in Bakersfield, California, two black men were hung in Bakersfield. These are stories that's not hitting the media, but I'm telling you, black men are protecting, but black men are dying. And we get your frustration, sweetheart. We understand black women are frustrating, but what y'all can't understand is we're dying. When we leave the house, we're not coming back. It's not because we're leaving, we're dying. Not all, but there's a lot of black men who have died since 1900 to 2020 fucking two. We might as well just say 2023. There's a lot of black men who are dying or in jail. A
So,
lot.
so something that I wanted to say in regards to what you're saying is even Malcolm X himself.
Oh god.
I'm not sure if you're aware of what he was speaking on regards to black women. Even X himself admitted that the most disrespected people were black women. You know, and
Yeah.
if you truly look in history, not the actual myths of what people circulate all around the internet, but if you actually look at history in regards to research, because I'm really heavy into this, I've read some books in regards to this. There's actually a documentary that was actually speaking regards to the myth of this idea, that black men left the house solely because black women had extra income that they could get. That was not the case. This issue went down all the way into slavery. It didn't just happen randomly in the 60s. Black women never really had that experience, in regards to you can't really compare the experience that black women had in America to white women. Like that's what I'm saying. In regards to black women and black men, it's a substantial difference
You think so?
because like you were speaking on, for women, they're seen as less of a threat. So in any kind of culture, in any kind of environment where men are conquered or a culture is conquered, the people that they're heavily focused on putting down are not the women, but it's the men. So it goes down all the way to slavery, when basically the people who are heavily humbled, treated with disrespect, degraded, were the men, which basically shifted the gender roles in the black community in itself. So that's why I tend to see a cultural difference amongst black Americans and black people who aren't not from here. And I'm not surprised by that, because the men were heavily degraded, the women were kind of expected to do the heavy lifting, because of the trauma that black women went through. Seeing all of that, they kind of raised their sons to be more weaker, and they raised their daughters to be more stronger, because they grew up deep into history. They see the strongest man being heavily degraded. So you see throughout history, that's exactly what happened. It's not like randomly, black men just stopped protecting black women. It went down all the way to slavery. They've been not protecting black women. It was always mainly black women having to really hold down the household, and nowadays we're not in slavery times. Nowadays those opportunities are there, and now I'm seeing excuses at this point, because the main way a black man dies is not from the freaking cops. It's from other black men. Like that's an actual statistic. You're more likely to get freaking hit by lightning and get into a plane crash than get shot by the cops and killed. Although we do see it in social media, I don't disagree with that aspect. I don't disagree that cops is a huge problem. I don't disagree that they kind of judge, and they see a black man, they want to pull him over. I don't disagree with that aspect. What I'm saying though is it's a complete damn excuse. It's not so extreme to the point where now you can't get on your shit and hold yourself accountable. I feel like black men are using being black as a crutch to not do what they're supposed to do as men. Because I don't like, quite honestly, I see a lot of men of other cultures, including black, who are on their shit, who don't use that as an excuse. They're doing what they're supposed to do, but I definitely feel like a lot of black American men
You can say
kind
that.
of just use that as a crutch. Like they're definitely enabled, and I feel like that accountability needs to be had. You need to kind of look in the mirror and say, hey, we're not in slavery time. Although I might deal with some prejudice and racism, I can make some effort. I can be on my shit. Like, we live in 2023. We don't live in the 1950s anymore. It's a different world.
But see that
It's
okay.
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I'm sorry. I thought you was coming to a cease. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead. Finish the thought.
No, all that I'm saying is that we live in a different world right now, where black men do have those opportunities. You know, they're more inclined to die from another black man's hands compared to anything else. That is a statistical fact. You know, so it's not like when you're walking around, it's not like the cops are out here getting for you. You know, in fact, if we're going based upon that fear basis, you know, you should be worried about each other. You know, but even then, it's not like black men are out here shooting each other. It's just not as common as people make it out to be nowadays. That's very much media. That's media making you want to think and worry and get extremely stressed out for no reason. Because I even asked my father this. You
That's
know,
the
he's not.
contradiction. That's the contradiction I was leaning on, and that's what I was going to harp on. You just said black men are killing black men, but you just sat up here and said that that's not even it. That's what the media is portraying, and you're absolutely right on the second notion. There is a high number of black on black crime. I just wrote about this, and I got 100 on my essay. Never thought I would ever get 100 on an essay, but I wrote about this piece that black on black crime is just stupid. That's the narrative that they paint so that they can keep black men like at an unfair advantage. And when you sit here and say it's an excuse, oh, please let me finish. When you say it's an excuse, black men saying it, it's not an excuse, sweetheart. I just got my house last year. I just got a house last year. I've been looking for a house for a whole year. It wasn't until I said that I choose to decline. I want to say that I choose to say I declined to put my race down. You know what I'm saying? For me to get approved for a house. So it's not excuses. This happens. I know it's hard to believe, but this is where we say, as a black woman, you don't understand what black men go through once we leave y'all. We put up a facade, a front that, yeah, it's all peaches and cream, so y'all motivated that y'all could do something. But it's not peaches and cream out here. I'm giving you me. I ain't talking about black being no more. I am a safety manager construction site, a whole construction site. I'm making damn good money. I'm a six-figure man. That's 10% of the earnings in America. You know that. You know that to be a fact. Okay, check this out. I'm the only black man on the site, in my company, the only black man in management. And you know what I got to deal with every fucking day? I got to hear some of the racist shit, some of the why the black people do this shit. This is 2020 fucking two. I have to hear this. And you know, I can't go off. I can't yell. I can't tell them how I really feel because you know why? I'm a black man in a position that I have knocked down a barrier and I done opened doors for my brothers to follow suit and come into this career field that's booming and get this money. No matter what the odds is, we can withstand what they saying. We can withstand what they doing. But what's hurtful to hear a black woman say it's an excuse. And it's like, no, it's not an excuse. If you come to work with me, I don't think you can withstand what I go through because it's not meant
So
for you to. Hold on, I'm almost done. It's not meant for you to go through what we go through. You're not built to go through what a black man go through, as well as a black man is not meant to go through what a black woman go through. But there's no need to discredit each other. That's where the war come in. I will never say your struggles as a black woman is less or greater than a black man. It's equal. That's where we get the mentality of house nigga and field nigga. And I just need you to know that you're giving the other cultures, you're giving them strength to shit on your black men. What you
so
told me, you're giving them strength to shit on us. If we're not protecting y'all, you're giving them the upper hand to shit on black men by what you're saying and the power of the tongue. I'm just only telling you that.
okay, actually, I'm gonna say this. Most of the men that I had dated were black. I prefer black men. I just don't prefer black American men. I'm gonna say this. I usually don't even really date outside my race personally because I do prefer dating somebody who's a similar skin tone to
What
me.
is
So I'm
your
not saying this to put down black men in that kind of sense. I'm saying this because I 100% believe in critiquing and pointing out behaviors. I don't believe in enabling somebody and acting like everything they do they deserve a golden sticker for it. You know, I never met a man of any race, including black. because most of the black men that I dated were decent men. I never dated a man who was a hard worker, who was on his shit, who did what he was supposed to do, who was responsible and held himself accountable and was not successful in life. I've never seen that.
And who was not?
I feel like to a large degree, to a large degree.
Say that again. Who was not what? I didn't catch the last part.
I've never met a man who has good work ethic, who holds himself accountable, who's responsible, who moves like a man who knows what he wants in life and doesn't stop, not be successful at all. I've never seen that. And what I see, like, I see this idea of trying to enable men, especially black men. I'm not saying this shit in a sense where I'm trying to put them down. I'm saying this in the sense where strength does not come from somebody being enabled and constantly given a golden sticker for existing. That does not make somebody strong. In fact, I would like to say that makes somebody extremely weak. That makes somebody weak. Because at the end of the day,
I want to credit for what you just said. I want to credit you. You say you've never seen somebody who works hard, and what was that? Who's
I never somebody seen who works his ass off, who has good work ethic, who doesn't give up, not be successful. I see a substantial difference in how rich people move, how successful men move, and how a man who's not on his shit moves. And we don't want to admit that a lot of men who aren't on their shit, it's not because they're working their ass off, they're doing what they're supposed to do, and they're just failing. A lot of times it's because they don't use their time wisely. They focus on the wrong things in life. A lot of times they're chasing pussy, they're chasing drugs, they're doing a bunch of hobo mess. They're focusing on the wrong things in life, and they're not focusing on their actual careers, especially young men, especially young black men. So like we're trying to act as if all these black men out here are on their shit. A whole army of men working their ass off. No, especially in this culture, especially in this time, there's a lot of freaking GTA boys smoking drugs, smoking their weed, not doing shit with their lives, living from home to home. It's like you see a lot of that, and it's like we're trying to act as a system. It's a system. Don't get me wrong. I've been in that situation myself. I've worked around rich people. I worked in country clubs. I've worked around substantially wealthy people, and I definitely see higher prejudice the higher you get. I definitely see that. I've heard comments. All I'm saying is that we live in a time where nothing actually stops you. Yes, you will deal with prejudice, but even as a black man, if you have that work ethic, if you do what you're supposed to do, and if you don't waste your time doing bullshit, you will be fine. I've never seen anything like that, like at all. Even my father, he failed a lot of times, and he would never say it was because I was a black man. He would say it's because I don't finish what I start. I did a lot. Like he admits that shit. So it's like I just feel like this idea that enabling and giving a black man a sticker just because makes them weak. It weakens them. It doesn't help them. That is why, like, even with a lot of single mothers, I kind of see them doing the same thing reversed. They strengthen the girls, meaning they hold them to a high standard. They tell them, like, this is what you're supposed to do. Like, this is it. But with the boys,
so wait.
American community,
I want to ask you a question, and I need your honest answer, not opinion, but your honest answer, because I like what you're saying about black men. I love it. Where's your ass at when you got black girl magic? You got all this black girl, you can do it. When black women give themselves flowers, when black single mamas, I'm the mama, I'm the daddy, I'm this, I'm that. Where's the energy when they come up short, but they still empowering themselves? Where's that same energy on them? Because they don't get it the way we get it. And I'm listening to you, but I know you don't do it because the world don't see it that way. Black men, y'all supposed to. Y'all go out there do it. I don't want to hear this. You just stay with it. You're going to get it. Black men are tired. I'm just telling you, I'm a black man. I'm tired. I'm not going to stop because I got a kid, but I'm tired. I work harder than the average culture that you're talking about. They got funds. They got hand-me-downs. I got to go get everything I want. And when I get it, to hear a black woman say, I'm feeling, dog, that shit hurt. It's like, I'm tired. And that's the power that I'm telling you. Out of everything we're talking about, What you're saying, your words are harsh. They're hard, and I agree with it because I'm never gonna quit. That's my superpower. My determination is my superpower. But that's me, sweetheart. Not every man is cut from that cloth, and that don't mean they less or weak. It's just we gotta find avenues that suit them because we all can't be good sisters. We all can't be friends.
I
You know,
think
Joe
I
Blow might
think a
be
lot of
a hell of a fucking poet.
so I think a lot of like I said, a lot of these men, they're like I said, they're heavily enabled. I'm just saying it's how they're raised because at the end of the day, outside of race, working hard, you can't get a shortcut unless you grew up in a rich family. Like even if you're a white person, even if you're a Hispanic person, especially these Hispanic men, like I seen a lot of them and what they do. Oh my gosh, I respect the hell out of it. They work their
I don't
ass
say
off, and it's not because it just happened randomly. It's because of how they're raised and the expectation that's put on them. It's a complete necessity. And what I'm saying is, within the black community, it's not a necessity. It's not an expectation. So therefore, a lot of black men, they feel like, well, this is too much for me. Like even providing, like especially it's normal, at least in my family, especially in my culture, especially amongst Hispanics, very common thing where you see the man providing, paying all the bills, doing what he's
like
supposed
your
to do,
culture.
taking care of the woman. Within the black community, I barely see that shit. In fact, that's seen as like, what, that's, are you crazy? Like, what about, I need some help? Like, it's just, I think it's mostly how the men are raised. They're raised to be weak. At the end of the day, strength comes from a certain level of struggle. It comes from overcoming things. It doesn't come from giving up and letting the world take you, and I just see this idea, where you want to be taken
Hey,
and you just want a golden sticker for, you know what, at least I tried. That's not enough. That's not enough in my opinion. I think there needs to be more, and I definitely feel like
hey,
I don't
bro,
think I don't
what
think a
is your
lot of
culture?
black women degrade black men. I think a lot of them are freaking pick me's as hell, and they enable the shit out of them. Like, if I don't think that at all. I definitely, there's a lot of black women who call that shit out because they're tired, but I see a lot of black women who act like freaking mommies to freaking men who should be husbands. So I don't know about that though, because I see plenty of women out here who talk shit about women all the time, all the time, and they enable the shit out of men, especially black men. If that was
So
not the case, black men would not be moving the way they move. The reason why they move the way they move is because a lot of these women out here act like freaking mommies giving golden stickers because you breathe. That's not enough.
what's your culture, son? What's your ethnicity?
I'm sorry.
What's your ethnicity? What's your culture?
I'm black. Oh no, my race is black, and my ethnicity is Caribbean. My mother comes from a small islands, and my father comes from Haiti.
Were you born here in the States?
Yes, I was born in the States.
Yeah, so you got a different background than most black folks here in America. Your parents were foreigners, basically. They wasn't from America. They probably came here, but that's why your traditions and your beliefs are so different,
I
so
would
different.
say, although it's so different, I find that it's much more similar amongst even Americans who
That's
just aren't
true.
black. Like, I'm just saying, like the way a lot of black men move, like I said, is just because I'm a black woman who didn't grow up in that stereotypical I'm a strong independent black woman thing. I grew up with a more similar mentality.
That's a division, but that's
Oh,
a division that needs to be understood. I grew up in the hood, and a black person who's black, look like me and you, might have grew up in the suburbs, and they're trying to tell me that the way they came up is the same, and I could have had that, but they cannot understand or fathom that there's a difference in the way we came up. Just here in America, you being on the other side of the train tracks, there's a difference that you got accessible things that I could not get. You got better schooling. You got things that set you off for a better, successful life. But me, I didn't get that. I had to work harder. So when you say, oh, it's no excuse, first off, I would never respect you because you didn't have to go as hard as I did. We're not equal. You cannot walk the miles in my shoes that I had to. Your feet are pretty. Mine's are rugged. It's harder. And I'm not saying you, I'm just giving you an example. Don't discredit somebody that's speaking a different language that you may not understand. They may be talking English, but it might be in patois. They're speaking the language, but you can't understand. So you cannot tell them they not speaking English because somebody where they come from understands what they've been through and how they got there. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I hear you. I agree 1,000. I had this conversation with many people that everybody got a choice to live a good life once they escape their bad. I believe that wholeheartedly because I did it. And I'm not going to make an excuse for not going out there and get it. But I do understand that, yo, check, everybody don't get what I got. I got a chance to go to the military. I got a chance to meet a couple heavy hitters and some white people that got me on a good path. I was lucky. My family, my family, they're not as lucky. But I would never shit on them and tell them they not nothing. That they less of what they're lacking because they're not taking care of their kids. I learn from the hood, each one teach one. So if I get it, they got it. If I got it, they got it. If I'm in a big house, they in a big house. If I go up, they coming up. That's the lifestyle that Black Americans have. Not all, but most of us, we do have that. And you may not understand that, but that's the division we have with other individuals that are Black, that look like us, you and me. That's the division we have where we be like, hey, look, y'all not born here. Don't tell us nothing about that because y'all don't know the struggle we go on. You're not qualified to tell us about how to be Black in America. You're not qualified. And a lot of Black people will tell you that. But I respect our conversation. I respect your mind. I think we had a brilliant dialogue, monologue, all that shit. I think a lot of people who came here who stayed, they got a sense of respect from both of us, but they probably didn't like some of the things we said. That's cool, it's understandable. But ultimately, I learned a lot from you, and I hope you can say the same. But I'm going home now. I'm tired. I got homework to do. So I'm gonna chop it up with you. Youngster, come talk to your people, man. Man, y'all stay blessed. Happy holidays, happy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas.